Hello and welcome to the Commonwealth Mountain and Ultra Distance Championships, a three-day festival of running that's brought competitors from all over the world right here to Wales to take part in events that really go beyond the marathon. The three counties of Anglesey, Conwy and Gwynedd are rich in culture and scenery, and each will host one of the three main events that make up the Games. But during the competition, the athletes will have little time to take in that beauty and the history, as many of them will be facing the greatest challenge of their sporting lives. Beginning on the streets of Llandudno with an unimaginable test of human endurance to a battle of speed and bravery over the rugged mountains of Llanberis. And finally to Anglesey's Newborough Forest and Sands for a test of ultra running. We are in for some epic competition with some of the world's finest athletes. So let's join our race commentator Patrick Winterton for a look at what's coming up.
There can be no finer place for an event of this nature. Three huge races in 3 days. Newborough Forest, Llanberis, Llandudno hosting the events, and the athletes are going to be blown away by the scenery in this part of the world. Provided the weather stays clear, those who have to climb the mountains will get fantastic views of the coastline, and those who race down by the coast will get lungfuls of sea air. Llandudno has been chosen to host the 24-hour race. The tourists will be going up the Great Orme, but the runners will be up and down a 1 kilometre loop to make up whatever distance they can achieve in the 24-hour period. It's mind-blowing stuff, but it's attracted nations from all over the Commonwealth. Wales, the host nation, of course, are here in numbers. England have some excellent athletes and certainly expected to be in the top three. It's hugs all round for the athletes. All the supporters here know exactly what they are about to go through. Some have prepared for years for this event, and certainly they know the pain they are about to experience. It's as much mental as it is physical. So away they go. The clock has started and it will not stop for a full day. Now the pace will never be quick. You wouldn't expect that. The key is to keep the same pace right the way throughout. Wearing number 1 is the Australian legend, Joe Blake, the defending champion, and with a PB of 249 kilometres. If he gets anywhere near that today, it could bring him his second title.
The word race is of course not completely accurate in the case of a 24-hour event. It's not about how fast you go, but how far you go. The competitors have exactly 1 day to complete as many circuits of this 1 kilometre loop here in Llandudno as they can. The athlete who wins it may cover around 250 kilometres. That's about 150 miles. So this is all about patience, pacing and endurance.
Those are three qualities that the top women have in abundance, and the best of them all is Lizzie Hawker, 35-year-old, racing for England and just back from the Alps where she won the Mont Blanc mountain marathon.
It's very different because it's a 170-kilometre race and over 9,500 metres of ascent and descent, and you're making one loop around Mont Blanc, so from Chamonix through Italy, Switzerland and back to Chamonix again. So it's really a mountain journey. A 1 kilometre loop for 24 hours is something completely different. This is my first one on the road and I think you really have to get your head into the right place and just take it as a moving meditation and just let it flow.
Each of the athletes has their own race plan, knows how to deal with the situation. Meredith Quinlan from Sydney in Australia knows exactly how her race is going to turn out.
Marking off each hour is, because it's only 24, you know, once you've been through an hour, that's it, you know, you can mark that off and you never have to revisit it. I think it's genetics. Stubborn. It's all about what your mother gave you.
Well, that may be the case. John Pears from Wales is flying the flag for the home nation.
Yeah, not bad, going well, yeah. On plan, feeling good, nice and relaxed. And I'll take one of those. Just taking the lead, so I'm not so happy about that. Prefer coming from behind.
And this, for me, is the ultimate physical and mental challenge. It's mental in both senses of the words. I train, I run tired and I run hungry, so I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I go and do a 10-mile run before work. So I'm going to be running at 3 o'clock in the morning, and my body's going to be saying, go to bed. Every half an hour I will eat something during that race. So I'll run and then I'll walk for maybe 100 metres while I force some food down me and then start running again. This is not so much a race, it's an eating competition with some running involved.
The best athletes will lose the least amount of weight as they burn up a massive amount of calories.
Maximum will be 200 an hour for 24 hours, but I think you lose more like 400 an hour, so probably, yeah, whatever the maths is on that. I'm an athlete, I can't do maths.
Yeah, well, actually, I'll take a Mars bar.
6 hours in, 1.5 marathons already completed by the leaders. And both the men and the ladies leader together, Lizzie Hawker alongside John Pears. Pears all talk and smiles. Hawker totally focused with a long, long way to go. As night falls, so does some of the athletes' spirits. Lizzie Hawker of England still going very well on her first ever 24-hour race. Chris Carver is struggling, and he's now dropping off the pace set by John Pears.
The human body is designed to sleep at night, so I think for me it's always that time after midnight, whether it starts at 10 a.m, noon, 2 p.m, always that period. Midnight till 4 o'clock in the morning, I would say, is a low point, and that's when I'm drinking cups of coffee and really trying to keep my energy up.
Pears going past Joe Blake, that will give him a boost. Joe Blake, the pre-race favourite. And it looks as though John Pears is coming in for a massage. Must be tightening up in the lower limbs. And with John Pears on the masseur's plinth, Lizzie Hawker has completed more distance than anyone else, so she effectively the race leader, and going past Joe Blake, who is having a torrid time out there. Pears now has something to chase as he tries to get those legs going again.
So the first few steps after that massage were a bit tough, but legs are feeling really good now. Nice and easy, so that's great.
So Pears looking and feeling better. Aaron Bhardwaj of India, well, he is the master of the catnap with plenty of experience of these sort of races. Just 10 minutes. It will feel like 2 seconds.
Any movement is better than none. If you can run at even a very, very slow jog, it's faster than walking.
I had a massive spew, and I think more came out than I thought was actually in my stomach.
Oh, the legs are pretty shot, I'm afraid.
A long night. But we're almost into the daylight.
I think we're all finding it very hard now. Last hours before dawn.
Just been getting weaker and weaker.
Just keep going, plodding on, plodding on.
Number 48 is Emily Gelder, the winner of the home country's 100-kilometre this year in just over 8 hours. Also won the Spartathon event in 2010.
You're going to dream of going round and round.
And currently lying in second place, but no chance of catching Lizzie Hawker, who's flying, but has just been overtaken again by John Pears. Now, officially, they're not racing each other, but it's a fascinating psychological battle between the two. But you have to remember, they're racing for individual golds here in Llandudno.
Looking forward to the sun coming up. Shouldn't be too long now. And it's the home straight, really.
Well, he still looks very cheerful, but Lizzie Hawker, who really hasn't changed that expression on her face since the first mile, does not want to confer. Straight through. The motion and the speed identical to the first 3 hours. Just 6 hours to go. She's in a world that many of us have never visited. A coping mechanism for an event that is beyond most of our comprehension.
So I took the lead back then. Too good.
She's too good, says John Pears. She certainly is.
This is the happiest team camp in Llandudno. England are well placed in the team event. No wonder why there's so much vocal support for lead athlete Lizzie Hawker. She's running one record-breaking race.
And she still looks remarkably good considering what she's done. The record she's already beaten is the British women's 100-mile record. The record she wants is the world 24-hour record. And she needs to get a distance in excess of 244 kilometres. It stood for 18 years. Sigrid Lomsky of Germany holds that record. And with just an hour to go, it does look as though Lizzie Hawker's on schedule. The rest of the field, all nationalities, have been blown away by Hawker's unbelievable performance here.
I'm in a world of pain.
Oh dear, not pretty.
No, my feet never are pretty during these races.
The men and women just now focused on finishing. This is a sort of pain you can only understand if you do the event yourself. Now the way it works is they get to the line and are given a beanbag for their last lap. They drop that wherever they finish as the hooter goes, and that will give them their exact distance. Hawker takes the flag. She knows the race is won. John Pears, he's not going to get the 255 kilometres he wanted, but it's been a great race by him. But this is the woman we need to watch, because world records are being set here in Llandudno by a woman who has never done a 24-hour race before. Pears will take the men's title for Wales. A great effort from him. 4, 3, 2, 1, and down go the beanbags, and down go the bodies. Truly remarkable. The world record distance has been marked. It will now be measured. Only a month ago, she won that race, the Mont Blanc Mountain Marathon that would finish most people for a year. And now she's come to Wales and set the 24-hour record. Astonishing.
I think I'm in shock actually, because I really didn't know what to expect, because it was my first 24-hour on the road. So, you know, I came in having no expectations whatsoever. So, yeah.
No medals and no PB for Carver. John Pears, on the other hand, is celebrating.
That's fantastic, fantastic, absolutely brilliant. This has been my dream for the last 2 years. Just completely blown away. I had to dig deep. I remind myself of the training I've done. Just keep telling myself I can do this, I can do this. You know, really, really working hard. Yeah, just thinking, you know, thinking of the badge. Yeah, I'm just, oh, so proud.
And so he should be, a member of Buckley Running Club. He lives in Zurich now, in fact, and at this rate it's going to take him a long time to walk home. He has completed 6 whole marathons in the last 24 hours, and he takes the top prize in the men's event. Second to David Kennedy, third Pat Robbins. Wales, Australia, England on the podium in the men's event. 244.33 the distance, and England taking the team medal yet again. In the women's event, the bronze going to Meredith Quinlan, 217 kilometres. The silver to Emily Gelder, 220. But this woman has beaten the previous world best by over 3 kilometres. Lizzie Hawker is the champion here in Llandudno. She takes the individual gold and England take the team gold in the women's and the men's event.
So first blood to England and Wales. Now we move on to the mountain race, an event that tests your legs, your lungs, your self-belief and sheer bravery. Join us after the break. Welcome back to Wales and the Commonwealth Mountain and Ultra Distance Championships. Next up, it's the mountain race, which takes place in an area steeped in the traditions of fell running. Let's join Patrick Winterton for a look at what's coming up and going down.
The teams have moved south and into the mountains. Llanberis hosting the next event in these championships.
I just love how it kind of gets everyone together and just the whole atmosphere of all the countries coming together and having a good time up in some mountains, getting lost together. I'm loving it. I just think it's so beautiful. I'm kind of just hoping to have a good race in myself and just enjoy the scenery and just have fun in the race, really.
The Australians may be here to enjoy themselves. The English looking a whole lot more serious. They are here to win.
It is a very strong team. We had the World Championships a couple of weeks ago and the team that was out there were mostly English, and it's the same guys again, so we know we're in good form and hopefully we can do well.
The women will be the first away, and Mary Wilkinson from Bingley is one of the top women in the field.
It looks tough. Apparently it's quite wet and a bit boggy underfoot, so I'm looking forward to it though, and I think if we can win the team competition I'll be satisfied with that. At our trial race we had a real battle between all 5 of us really. So I mean, there's Lizzie Adams who had a storming run in the World Mountain Run Championship. I mean, anybody who's here is of a high standard, so you just got to watch your back for everybody.
I went to look at the course yesterday, and the course looks really good. I can see Snowdon in the background, and looks really runnable. So I'm looking forward to it. Excited and confident, I think.
John Pears and Lizzie Hawker's victory in the 24-hour race was all about cautious pacing. Up the slopes of Moel Eilio, caution will be thrown to the wind and the rain.
Under starters' orders.
3, 2, 1.
Kiplagat, 136, very keen to get away. 1, 2, 3, we know all about Lizzie Adams, who sets off at a steady pace. Victoria Wilkinson looking strong. Olivia Walwyn-Bush, another name to watch out for. But it's Kiplagat who goes like the wind off the blocks. And maybe she's forgotten that this is a mountain race, not a road race. 8 kilometres the total distance. A long climb up Moel Eilio. They don't quite get to the top of the mountain, but it's an up and back race. Well, there's the profile of the course, a total of 550 metres to ascend. That's half the height of Snowdon. And they'll disappear into the mist before they can turn around and race back down to the town of Llanberis and the finish. Now, this is where the climbing starts, up through the estate, and it's cruelly steep in the early stages. The English team wearing the white vests and red shorts, the Welsh in red shirts, black shorts. Kiplagat of Kenya, it is still leading, but the English team gathering behind her. Lizzie Adams has just finished 5th in the world title. That's 1, 2, 3. So she's on fantastic form at the moment and could well be the one to watch out for today. But it's Sarah Tunstall who goes past Kiplagat to take the lead.
As the race moved from the road to the rough tracks of Moel Eilio, the English trio were injecting some pace. It was a speed few could live with, though Scotland's Tracy Brindley was still in touch as the tracks got thinner and they hit the steep 2-kilometre climb to the top of the course, with Olivia Walwyn-Bush leading the English charge. Time to rejoin race commentary with Patrick.
Walwyn-Bush of England, now the current leader in the women's mountain race. She got beaten by Wilkinson and Adams recently in a trial race in Keswick by about a minute and a half, so she's trying to make her bid for glory very early on, climbing well, using the arms as well as the legs. Always a difficult decision. Do you jog slowly or do you walk with slightly longer paces? For Lizzie Adams, it's a bit of both. Placing of the foot, vitally important. But also resting the arms on the knees helps pump the legs, also opens up the lungs. Fantastic effort from the English team at the moment. Will Bush out front. We've got Adams and Wilkinson 2 and 3, and Sarah Tunstall in 4th at the moment. And the best of the rest is Tracy Brindley, who's racing for Scotland, runs for the Oakle Hill Runners just outside Stirling. There she is, number 166, a Scottish international since 1996 and taking on a strong English team today.
As they approached the top with legs and lungs burning, it was Scotland's Tracy Brindley who ran through the pain and the mist to be the first at the turn and begin the descent. Could she hold on though, with England's Lizzie Adams 3rd to begin the drop back down to Llanberis and the rest of the pack not far behind?
What a fantastic effort from Tracy Brindley to reach the top of the hill first, but she's up against a woman who took 3 minutes out of her in a recent World Championship trial event, and she'll know that Lizzie Adams is lightning quick on the way down. It's a deceptive technique from Adams. The upper body is the giveaway that she's so well balanced, very little excess movement and totally under control. Brindley running for her life here. Just looking a little bit heavy on the legs. Here comes Adams, closing certainly over the last 400 metres and just letting it flow nicely. Looking for the grass, some soft impact for the feet and reduce the shock through the legs. Now, what's the margin? You can see it for yourself, some 60 metres at the absolute most. And back in 3rd is Mary Wilkinson, but she's flying as well. Can she make it up into the top 2? Adams is getting ever closer to Tracy Brindley, the 25-year-old from Yorkshire, still looking strong. There's plenty of spring in the legs, and the distance between herself and the leader has gone from 400 metres to nothing. Well, Brindley took the lead going up the last bit of the climb, and as they come to the last bit of the descent, Lizzie Adams of England blasting through to take the lead.
It was a battle for the scraps for all but one runner now. England's Adams was headed for the win.
8,000 metres, 550 metres of climbing, and Lizzie Adams of England, who lived in Wales as a child, has timed it and paced it to perfection. A brilliant run from her. She saved just enough energy for the descent, and she takes gold for England. Tracy Brindley for Scotland was first to the top, but didn't have the leg speed to hold on to that top position. She gets 2nd and the silver medal, and 3rd goes to Mary Wilkinson. Another well-paced race from her. So the English in 1st and 3rd, and looking for yet another team gold. So the results, 43.07 for Lizzie Adams, Tracy Brindley 2nd, and the silver Wilkinson in 3rd. England, in fact, getting 5 of the top 6 places. So another convincing win for them ahead of Scotland.
I really enjoyed the course. It was really good to be back racing, and so the Kenyan athletes went off really fast to start with, but it was my plan to start off steady because normally I start a bit fast. So, and Olivia and Tracy were flying up the hill, so if you got something left at the end, you can just use the speed at the end.
Overall success for England. The Australians, the best they finished was Bronwyn Humphries in 13th. A whole mass of races taking place here, open races, and the home countries, under 18s, under 16s, under 14s, and some real potential being shown. I'm sure 1 or 2 future champions racing in the junior races. And they'll all enjoy watching the final event here in Llanberis, the men's mountain race. James McMullen of England, very much the favourite, having shown very good form recently.
It's a very important race. It's the last one of the season. It's something that we aim for over the summer. Been looking forward to it and want to finish on a high.
Well, he won the World Championship trials in August. He won the Broughton Heights race, the inter-county event, and McMullen certainly would consider nothing less than victory here, and expect to see him maybe not in the front but certainly up the front early on. As the sun comes out, the Australians start to show their faces. Reitman and Nispel in that leading group. As we have a look at the course profile, 12 kilometres the distance, 744 metres of climbing, including Moyle Alio, and a cruel little climb in the closing stages that could be decisive. Leaving Llanberis, it's Francis Kanji of Malawi that leads the field.
As they swapped tarmac for track, it was Canada's James Gosselin taking control. Him and Kanji were making sure the pace was high as they battled for the lead.
Leading the way in the early stages, James Gosselin, all the way from Ontario, Canada. And he's had one or two successful races in Mexico in the last couple of months, so he's on good form. I don't think this is just a flash in the pan, but the question is, can he maintain this pace all the way to the top? Already the favourite, James McMullen, is starting to show himself. Mouth wide open, trying to fill the lungs with oxygen. And it's a good effort in the early stages from Francis Kanji. He stuck with it, still in third place, up the steepest part of the course. Good to see the Scottish contingent showing. We've got Robbie Simpson, Joe Simmons there as well, and Rob Samuel of Wales.
With the top Englishman James McMullen an ever-present third, the battle for the lead was now between Gosselin and Scotland's Joe Simmons. The men in blue and white were most likely to threaten England for the team win, and Simmons was doing his best to help that happen as he led to the top.
Joseph Simmons, 28, from Scotland, actually in the pub last night, enjoying a pint with the camera crew, looking very good indeed. Got a number of hill records in Scotland, some of which he's taken away from his brother Andrew. And now he just has to focus on the descent. Second place, still the Canadian, James Gosselin. And James McMullen, some 120 metres behind the leaders. Round the cairn at the top. McMullen, a very fluent descender indeed, runs for Thames Hare and Hounds and the Epsom Oddballs as well. This is Rob Samuel, a man who's got a time of 2:44 for the Snowdon Marathon. That's a cracking time, and he's hot on the heels of Robbie Simpson, the 19-year-old Scot.
Simmons wasn't quite the lone figure that he appeared to be on this shot. James McMullen was close behind and was the man to fear. Simmons knew it, but would the Scot be able to hold on for the final third of the race?
8 kilometres gone, 4 still to go, and they turn to climb again. It's only a vertical climb of 150 metres, but at this stage of the race, it's all going to come down to what you've got left in the tank. James McMullen slowly but surely closing down on Joe Simmons of Scotland. Simmons won the Dollar Hill race in his time. Third place, Robbie Simpson from Bankery, not far from Stonehaven, beautiful part of Scotland. And he says he's in love with lactic acid. Well, there may be a fair amount floating through his system at the end of this little climb. Simmons still moving well, but McMullen is moving better and closing the gap. You can see it for yourselves. 10 metres the difference between the two of them now as they approach the top of the final climb. And then it's hell for leather back down to Llanberis. This picture gives you an idea that Simpson is closing in as well. McMullen cannot afford to hang around, and he doesn't. Straight through, and opens up a gap of 3-4 metres immediately. That's the end of the climb. Down they go. And the top three separated by less than 40 metres.
After his well-paced run, McMullen had plenty left for the final mile, while Simmons was left to worry about a late charge from his teammate Robbie Simpson and Wales's Rob Samuel. But the English flag would be first out at the finish.
Less than 50 metres to go for James McMullen to claim victory here in Llanberis. He paced himself well on the climb. He just got stronger and stronger as the day's gone on.
I was pleased with that. I thought it would be around 50 minutes. It's very difficult to tell on these courses, but yeah, that's what I was hoping for, and I thought that would be good enough to be near the front.
And England are sweeping the board.
Well, I hope we can do it. Let's wait and see on the team results, but it was great to pick up a medal for England, and I hope the boys can bring it home for the team as well.
Robbie Simpson, he's always been good on the downhills, and he proved it again today, moving from third up into second place. And Joe Simmons, first to the top, but he ends up in third place.
The pace was really fast to begin with on the road, so I wasn't going to go at the front. I thought I'd just sit in a nice place and and then make up some positions on the uphill and the downhill, because that's usually what I'm best at.
A good result for the Scots. They weren't all in bed early last night.
I had a pint with your colleagues actually. I like to do that the night before a race. Just settles you down a bit, means you get a bit of a nicer sleep, and just something I've always done, just to ease the nerves.
Reri Harriers' Rob Samuel is fighting it out for fourth place, but he's going to be undone by Francis Kanji of Malawi, who's had a very good race indeed. Samuel, the best of the Welsh, in fifth place. Kanji takes fourth, just behind Joe Simmons of Scotland in third. It's England who get the gold again, the 27-year-old from Surrey, McMullen, with the win. And that win crucial because Scotland and England level on points, but England winning the gold in the team on the countback.
So the mountain race gold medals go to England's Lizzie Adams and James McMullen. So while they can relax and celebrate, the Commonwealth trail runners are making final preparations to their race. It's to Anglesey next after the break for the final event of the championship. See you in a few minutes. Welcome back to the Commonwealth Mountain and Ultra Distance Championships. We're crossing the Menai Strait, the piece of water that separates mainland Wales from Anglesey, where the 55-kilometre trail race takes place, the final event of the championships. While the mountains of Snowdonia have long disappeared over the horizon, now the terrain for the Commonwealth Trail Championships is all about forests and energy-sapping beaches. The competitors have to battle their way across Newborough Sands to reach Llanddwyn Island with its ruined church dedicated to Dwynwen, the Welsh patron saint of love. Will there be any love amongst the competitors? Not once the gun goes.
Well, here's a man who really will be fighting for victory here, and it's Richard Gardner, policeman from South Wales and former winner of the Snowdonia Marathon.
I can't wait to go running for Wales in this event against these other countries and to show people what us guys in Wales can do. This is the first time that I'm setting out on the ultra running. Of course, as a marathon runner, you go up the distances, and I'm familiar with doing the mileage. It's going to require a little bit more pace judgment and experience.
Well, plenty of the local kids are getting experience here on Anglesey. They're setting a wicked pace in the early stages of their short trail race, taking part very much the important factor in this event. And here's part of the course, Llanddwyn Island, and here's a man who could win it, Jason Lutit of Canada.
This one is a trail race which is longer than a marathon. An ultra is longer than a marathon being 42 kilometers, this one being a little bit longer. This one would be different terrain. I know there's running on the beach, there's a little bit of undulating terrain, and like some of the trail races, they're not like the trails in the local parks. It's an honor to be in Wales and to be here for Canada.
Hugh Lobb of England, the only man to have proved that 2 legs can be better than 4 by winning the man versus horse in South Wales. He could be one to watch today.
I'm kind of looking at it as almost like a long cross country. It's going to be very varied terrain. So really it's a 5-lap course. Hopefully I'll be near the front for the first 10k. I don't really see any benefit in going out too hard. So really I just want to stay around the front and just try and watch out and see what's happening. Quite often with these longer races as well, it is quite a big scope for making tactical errors. So we may see people go off too fast at the beginning or blow up towards the end, and that obviously makes it an interesting race for people watching.
I'm excited, I'm ready. I just can't wait to get and find out what I'm about and what I can do.
So 55 kilometres the distance, and off they go. There'll be a bit of hustling and bustling as they sort themselves out. Richard Gardner on the left-hand side wearing 2:55, checking the watch. And he'll want to pace himself around this course. Certainly, with 5 laps of 11 kilometres, local knowledge will help. They'll know exactly where to run. They'll know exactly what sort of time they want to complete each lap. Let's have a look at the course, which uses Newborough Forest and out to Llanddowin Island. Sand, undulating terrain, a little bit of rough ground, some hard track as well. Just as trail running should be, a nice mix. 5 laps, remember, of 11 kilometres. And they've already set a fairly stiff pace early on. That's Chintalia, 181, leading the way for Zambia. Jeffrey Tum is 260 in second place for Kenya. And Hugh Lobb of England just behind him, looking for some harder sand. That's absolutely crucial. And I can guarantee that the Welsh team will have been down here time and time again to pick the best route. That's not an advantage that Jason Luted of Canada will have had. Second in the World Championships over in Ireland recently, and setting a good pace early on.
Sometimes the conditions are put there to challenge the runners, and especially to challenge those in a championship race. This one, I guess, involves also running on the beach a little bit, so sand running, and for those who have ran on the beach in the sand, they kind of, it starts to wear and tire you out.
Some of the leading ladies in the field, 218 is Emma Goodrum. Very light figure, she should float over the beaches. And certainly won't be trying to match the pace set by the 3 leaders. Now, Hugh Lobb categorically stated that he wasn't going to push too hard early on, but he is trying to stay with Chintalia and Tum. And they've already opened up a massive gap over the main pack. An interesting tactic. 5 laps, remember, and it is not as easy as running on tarmac. And with the sandy sections, you have to be so careful. Tum leading the way, beautifully fluent runner. It's a pleasure just to watch him. And they're setting up an interesting situation. The Kenyan and Zambian certainly want to break away from Lobb. Lobb doesn't want to start too fast, but he doesn't want to lose sight of the leaders. What does he do? Well, now he makes his decision. There's no doubt he's just eased off a little, and a gap of some 7-8 metres opening up. The Englishman, I think, knows what's good for him. The main pack containing some of the best of the Welsh runners, and anyone who's tried running on sand will know just how tough this course is. There are your leading 5 in the early stages, still very early days. Up over the sand dunes. And slightly surprised to see that the African runners are not wearing socks. I'm sure that's what they usually do, but just 1 grain of sand down the chute can cause all sorts of problems. Richard Gardner down in 7th place on the first lap. He said he was going to start steady, but he's very determined to put in his best performance here. PB for a marathon somewhere around 2:19. He did that in London. That is a very good time. So we know he can go the distance. I think the question is, can the two Africans keep this speed going for the full 55 kilometres?
Tum and Chintalia were flying with 35 minutes for the first 11k lap. 39 for the second was still faster than the rest, but Richie Gardner was running a sensible pace and looking strong, 6 minutes down. His teammates were also leaving something in the tank while Jason Lutit was beginning to suffer from the sand and the fast start. Would the Africans at the front of the race start to do the same?
Jeffrey Tum getting 4 minutes slower on each lap. 43.11 his time for the third lap here, now on the fourth lap, and looks to be going even slower, paying the price for that early pace. And Chintalia of Zambia suffering the same sort of fate. Hugh Lobb of England is still there, looks to be travelling well, and in fact is about to move from third back up into second. It looks as though he's paced it much, much better than the Africans, but don't forget he did go with the two Africans for that first 3 kilometres, so certainly the race is not in the bag. But looking at the time, there are about 3 minutes between himself and Richard Gardner, starting his fourth lap now. Good pace being set by Gardner, desperate to medal here today. Out front, Hugh Lobb, after going up into second place, is about to take the lead away from Jeffrey Tum. Across the sand for the penultimate time. Each step sinking just a centimetre and a half, but it just robs the energy out of the legs. Good technique from Hugh Lobb, keeps the feet low. Tries to float across the beach. And Chintalia has had enough. He's paid the price, and a shake of the head says he knows how stupid that was. Richie Gardner, I think I would have saved the energy, but he'll know exactly how the Zambian is feeling, and now he must focus on maintaining the speed that he's held for the last 3 laps. 39 minutes for each lap so far.
It was on lap 4 that Jeffrey Tum took his last painful steps in the race, leaving the lead and perhaps the win for Hugh Lobb.
The longest race I've done this year was 78k through the mountains, so hopefully I'll be able to run at least the distance I need to finish this race, so I'm relatively confident.
Gardner was just 3 minutes behind, with teammates Nathaniel Lane and Andrew Davis in third and fourth. The Welsh were all strong and would take the home win if the Englishman should falter on the final lap.
A little telling look over the left shoulder from Hugh Lobb, and you can see for yourself that the pace has dropped away dramatically on this final lap. He still has a significant lead. What is it, 150, maybe even 200 metres over Richard Gardner, but the Welsh policeman is flying now. He senses that victory is possible. He was 3 minutes down going through the start of the final lap, and now he can see Hugh Lobb just metres in front of him. Provided he can stay strong, victory surely is going to be his, because Lobb looks as though he's on his last legs. He'll be glad to get off the beach, but there's still some rough terrain to cover. And not only has he got Richard Gardner to worry about, he's got Andrew Davis, number 253, and Nathaniel Lane, who are fighting it out for third and fourth at the moment. And I'm fairly sure that the Welsh team will have given them all the information they need to know that podium positions are possible. Certainly Andrew Davis looking strong from the Mercia Fell Running Club. Gardner is closing, and he'll be enjoying this moment very much indeed. He's just playing this sensibly, hanging back a while. I think we'll see him accelerate when he goes past the Englishman, just to make sure that Lobb can't latch on to the back. Away he goes, very close indeed, but not a word uttered. Look at that, in the space of 20 metres, he's opened up 10. And I can tell you that Emma Goodrum, the leading woman, has opened up a massive gap over the Scottish veteran Angela Mudge. Looks as though Goodrum should seal this one. Steady pacing from her, 43-44 minutes for most of the laps, and is making it look very comfortable. The 40-year-old from Cheltenham and former 50-kilometre world champion. Now, all change at the lead of the men's race. Lobb has had enough, and Andrew Davies of Wales is moving through into second place. So Wales are now 1, 2 and 3. Gardner, Davies and Lane. And Brendan Davies and Michael Dongers of Australia have moved into 4 and 5. But the winner will be Richie Gardner, and what a brilliant race he's run today. He did not panic when the leaders went off so fast at the start. He knew what was to come, and he's just got better and better. His fourth lap of 43 minutes, not the quickest, but his final lap's been fantastic. He's going to win in just under 3 hours and 30 minutes. Another title and a popular win.
It's the best feeling. It's the best feeling in my 30-year career. You know, I've wanted to sort of get to this, the Commonwealth Games. I've had a few heartaches not making the major games. So to come here against the other countries and win the gold medal is all I could ask for. I trained really hard this summer and I put my body on the line, and it was just the perfect race. Hanging on the last 3 miles, but just strong. It's all about the work. You train hard and then you get days like this, you know. You know, I think Wales are going to end up with 2 and 3 as well now, so just a fabulous day.
The perfect finish to the championships for the host nation. They get a clean sweep here. It's Andrew Davies in second place. He was 7 minutes behind the leader at the start of the last lap. He's done fantastically well. 3:34.34 his time to take the silver medal.
Andrew, huge grin on your face as you came across. A Welsh 1-2.
Yeah, it's brilliant for Welsh athletics especially. It's a long last lap running on your own, but I knew Richie was out there in the front, so I knew I had to come through to get a good team prize, hopefully.
You stayed in the hunt as well, didn't you? All the way?
Yeah, I was about half the way down the pack, but I knew if I just keep working at it, I'll just slowly pick them off, and luckily that's what happens.
35-year-old Nathaniel Lane from Cardiff. Well, we've seen him run some good 5,000 metres in the past. Today, he's run 55,000 and he takes the bronze medal.
It's just fantastic. I mean, for Wales, for Welsh athletics, for the fans, you know, 1, 2, 3, home soil, can't get better.
At 40, Emma Goodrum is still running like a champion. She does 70 miles a week, and that is why she can cope with the sort of course that they set today. A fine performance from her.
Absolutely fantastic. I loved it through the trails, and I knew after sort of the fourth lap I could just keep going. So, sorry, I'm a bit out of breath now.
Well, that's hardly surprising. She's almost been out there for 4 hours to take victory in the women's trail race. So England getting another gold, and they took the team in that trail event. In the men's, well, it was Wales who were dominant. 1, 2, 3 in the individual, and of course they pick up the team prize and their third gold of these championships as a result of that. But the Welsh still some way behind the English, who finished these Commonwealth Championships with a total of 9 gold medals out of a possible 12. Wales in second place and the Scots in third, ahead of Australia.
So what a way to end the championships. A clean sweep for Wales in the men's race, and what a run from Richie Gardner. Over the past 3 days, we've seen the very best endurance runners in the world in one of the best arenas. From Wales, goodbye.